How we doing, everybody? I hope all is well. I want everybody to have a great and wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Be safe. Let's enjoy. Keep an eye on the driving. A lot of crazies on these weekends. Let me just welcome in our crew here. I'm not expecting. I realizing probably a lot of people go away, but let's get to it. CG2, how are you, my dear? Davey T, what's up, my brother? Terry, how are you? Matty boy, what's happening? David, I got your message. That's beautiful. I know you will. And whoever's watching from afar, as we see, I hope you enjoy the show. Nick, as sick as you are, you're here, buddy. Unbelievable. My man. Danny Giancola. Danny, that was a great show last night. And onward and upward, bud. Love you, pal. Thank you for coming in. Without further ado, let's bring in the man. Too sweet to be sour. The man of the golden hour. The man with the plan. My man, Mr. Jimmy DiModica. I'm getting better at this shit, man. How are you, my brother?
My man, 50 grand.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. What's happening, bud?
Who will be like this? Now I said, wait a minute. You're talking about me and Craig? Put a few more zeros on that and call me back.
Here we go, right off the bat. I want to say hello to you, Mrs. Barbara. How are you? It's a pleasure to have you in the house as always. Nick, I know you're sick as a dog. Thank you for joining us, but we got our brother up here, Nick. You're showing nothing but who you are, my man. Danny boy, a pleasure. Everybody that's in the house. I just want to say something before we start our show.
Yeah, get better, Nick. Make sure you get better, Nick.
Yeah, Nicky, you hear that?
Yeah, I need you to be in tip-top shape.
He knows why we're laughing. Why I'm laughing. Jimmy said we need you to be at your best. Tell him, Jim.
That's right. Just like in The Godfather, when Sonny says to Paulie Gaddick, well, listen, he says, he tells Clemenza, he goes, I don't care if he's breathing. Get him over to the house. Just get him there.
Nicky, you hear this? I love you. Jimmy here, man. I just want to wish somebody well who's home right now. Mr. Nelson Machado. Nelson will be coming on our show shortly. Nelson, feel better, buddy. From the show and everybody on the show, and myself, obviously, and the whole Gatto family, and the whole Reality Report family. We wish you nothing but the best, buddy. Get well, and we'll speak real soon. And when the people get to know who you are, Nelson Machado, they are going to be surprised on the things you've done in your life and who you've helped, who you've worked with. So get well, my friend. Get well. All right. Without further ado, I say we get to it, Jim. What do you think? Well, first of all, how's the family? How's everybody?
Everybody's good. Everybody's feeling okay. And despite any past turbulence, everything is fine. Everything is fine. Right. And I want to make sure you're doing okay with that with that problem that you had. I hope everything is cool.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
I want you to. I don't want nothing to go wrong. I want you and Nicky to be fine. I want to make sure I'm gonna wrap you in both in styrofoam. I want nothing to happen.
No, I'm good. I'm walking around in a bubble. Believe me, I got styrofoam all around me. I'm gonna be all right.
Okay.
Danny boy, what's happening? Danny, I didn't explain it last night, but we'll get into it another time. You have no idea. Last Thursday night, after we were done and with our fake interview, I got rushed to the hospital. Everybody thought there was something wrong with me. I wasn't feeling well, but I'm here and everything turned out great. Nothing like you went through, my man. But let's get into it. Jimbo, Friday night's a special, everybody. And I know there's a lot of people away. We still got 23 people here for you, man. This is about you. So let's I'm trying to want to come up with something. This is a good one. Jimmy,
Yes,
You
yes.
know, I knew when I was young, I had athletic ability. I felt very confident in that area. You know what I mean? Like, you feel strong in some areas and maybe not so strong in others. Joe, how are you, buddy? Was there an age where you recognized you had leadership skills or qualities that you had the ability to lead? You know where I'm going with this? Like, not that you know what you would be faced with later in life, but like, did you ever recognize you had strong leadership qualities that might be in some way?
It started for me like uh, in fifth grade, but before that, go back to second grade. See, my
Wow.
birthday is September 17th in '57. I was born. So when I was 7 years old, so 1964. This is 1964. There used to be a show on every Saturday morning on Channel 11. It was called John Nagy. He spelled his name, I think it was Gnagy, John Nagy. The G was silent. And he was an artist. But then he had this kit you can purchase with black charcoal, gray charcoal, white, and you would do like these abstract or scenery, picturesque pictures you could do. He would show you how to do it. He goes, all right, now let's put a tree here, just like that other guy did. I'm forgetting his name now, Bob Ross, like he did on TV, right? But this was before Bob Ross's time. This was John Nagy. So I'm 7 years old, and at that time, I used to go downtown Newark to go shopping with my mother. We would go to Bamberger. Now, Bamberger's first was the Macy's. Before it became Macy's, it was Bamberger's. Bamberger's, that's what it was called. And we would take the 30 Broad, the number 30 Broad Street, or 30 Broad, would pick us up right in the heart of Silver Lake, Belleville, again, where everybody came from, all the gunmen, all the guys like Bert, my father, Joe Mustache, all these guys. We would stand in front of the L&S drugstore and get the bus to go downtown. So I always remembered the routine. Henceforth, I'm telling you that for a reason, because on my 7th birthday, I get money in my cards, for my birthday. People are wishing me happy birthday, who put in $10, who put in $5 or whatever. So don't forget, this is 1964. It wasn't that fruitful back then, as far as money goes. You're in the 60s. So anyway, I make enough money. I think I had $22 or $21. So the art set was like $9.95. So I told my mother the night before, I says, Ma, tomorrow I'm going to take the bus. I'm going downtown Newark. I'm going to pick up the John Nagy art set. And she says to me, okay, yeah, no problem. She's figuring like I ain't really going to do this. I'm only 7 years old. I'm only like, 4 foot tall or whatever the hell I am.
Yeah.
The next day, I got up early. She was still sleeping because my father was away. He was in Rollway prison at the time. I go there. I go in front of L&S drugstore on Franklin Street in Belleville, Silver Lake. Take the 30 Broad down. I get let off right near across the street from Bamberger's. I take the escalator to the 2nd floor. I know just where it is. I pay for it. I can barely reach over the counter. I paid the lady the $10. She gives me a nickel change. I put it in the bag with the art set. When I get inside the elevator, I'm in an elevator now to go downstairs instead of the escalator. So what I did was, I was so intuitive at 7 years old. I stood next to a lady and I would mumble. I would go, yeah, and I would move my mouth like this. I wanted people to think that I was with her so nobody would try to kidnap me or nothing. Look at the mind I had at 7 years old. Now, if you take that today, if you try to do that today, they would call DIFUS on my mother. They probably would have gotten her in trouble, but she knew nothing about it. But then again, at that time, I could have got abducted by somebody, but yet I didn't think of that. And thinking about the bus driver, how did he let a 7-year-old kid get on the damn bus, put the money in the little thing where the money drops, the coins, and have a seat at 7 years old? I'm going downtown Newark all alone. Like it's unfathomable. Like when you think about it nowadays, to get away with this. So when I came home, my mother was frantic. She was wondering, where the hell was I? I come in with the art set. I said, well, Ma, I told you I was going to go downtown Newark to buy this art set. And she went, oh my God. She wiped away her tears. And then I hear her on the phone later to her girlfriends saying, can you believe this kid? The guts, the nerve of this kid. This kid is 7 years old that I have. He gets on a bus all by himself and goes downtown Newark to get whatever he wanted to get, because he wanted it. And whatever I wanted, I go out and get it since I'm 7 years old. That's the moral of the story.
So you were leading at 7. If you wanted it, you figured out a way to go get it.
That's right. I go out and get it. That's the name of the game. Just like I told you, real power is something you take, and I took that too when I seized the labor union, and I did so well at it. I had the blessings from everybody, and all the bosses in New York loved me because them envelopes kept coming in, and they were fat like telephone books. I'm a good earner, so that was very, that's the golden ticket. When you know how to earn, you write your own ticket. People, they pay more. They may pay more attention to you, and they give you more. They give you more credit, and they give you more respect.
Absolutely.
It's all part. It rolls all into one, Craig.
Right. So you're
I just want to show you how 7 years old, what kind of a lightning bolt of confidence that I had at a young little boy, just to get on the bus and go. I'm going like maybe like 7 miles, 10 miles out of my jurisdiction. I'm all alone, but I didn't fear nothing. I knew I knew where to get the bus on the way home, because you had to go across the street from Bamberger's. You had to go across the street to wait for the bus on the way home. And when I saw the 30 Broad pull up, I knew that's my bus. I get on, and I think it was 30 cents or whatever it was. I put it in the little hopper there, and I got on, and then I got off where L&S was, and then I walked home to Magnolia Street.
That's crazy, man. That is crazy. We're not getting, folks, just to let you know, get your questions ready. I know, whoever's out there who wants to ask a question to Jimmy, have them ready. It's awesome. He loves to answer them. This is not a question. Just Roy says, Paul, never apologize, buddy. Thank you for coming in. I want to just pull this up because I think you'll get a kick out of this. And, just Roy is saying, our friend from Ireland, hey, Craig, hope all is doing well. Great. Love listening along to Jimmy. This, you need a TV show or a movie or something about your life. You never know, right? You never know. Great to hear. Thank you for that compliment for Jimmy. That's for sure.
Thank you, Roy.
Yeah,
he ended off by saying, "What a life!" Yeah,
what a life. Yeah,
I had some life. Like I said, it's not your average run-of-the-mill life, because there's so many different avenues I've taken. Whether it was show business, card counting, directing adult films, organized crime, running a labor union. Come on, card counter. I won 386,000. Come on, man. I mean, like, I'd like to really meet somebody that was as versatile as me. Right. I would really be interested to meet somebody. It would tickle my fancy to meet somebody that I could break bread with, and have so many things in common with.
I gotta tell you, man. I'm glad you brought up the town. All right, Joe, we're going to hold on to that question. You got it, bud. I'm going to ask that shortly. You got my word. Jimmy, I'm glad you brought up card counting, because I know we spoke many times about, so many ways. Well, not so many ways. That was a big way on how you used to beat the casinos, to where you weren't welcomed in many casinos anymore because of your card counting. What I have for you is this, and I think I'm going to get you here. Were there any other ways that you were able to earn money without card counting in casinos? Any other scams? Any other ways that you had with casinos?
Well, now I'm gonna educate the people here.
Mr. Versatile.
But again, folks, please don't try this at home. But I'm going to tell you a little bit of what actually works in a casino.
Yes, please do.
When I won the 386,000, what I did was, the following 2 weeks later, I kept 200,000 in my account, in my savings account at the bank. It was there. I just let it lay there, let it gain interest or whatever. Now, here's how it works in a casino when you want to get casino credit. In the casino, they have right on the main floor, you have the cashier, you have the baccarat area. There's also a sign that'll say casino credit. It's like an office atmosphere. You go in there and sit. You'll talk to a guy. He's wearing a suit. He'll have ID of a name tag or whatever, whoever he is. What happens is, when you want credit, casino credit, they have to run a check on you to see how much you have liquid, how much liquid or how much money you have in your bank account. In other words, to make sure that you're a good candidate to get any kind of credit from the casino. So now, as I'm in there, what I do, I left the 200,000. So I sit down. I said, listen, I said, I have plenty of money in the bank. I said, but I want $100,000 marker. In other words, be able to go up for 100,000. So they say, okay, well, give us till the end of the day, or perhaps tomorrow morning at the latest, and we'll give you an answer. Anyway, by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they told me, they said, we're approving your credit application. We're giving you 100,000. With that, the next day I went to Bally's Casino. No, it was the Claridge in Atlantic City. I went there. All right, I went to Claridge. I went to the casino credit office for casino credit. I did the same thing. I said, listen, I got 200,000 in the bank. You see, each casino are in competition with each other. They don't know what each other is doing. So in other words, on my TRW, it doesn't say that they looked into my particular banking, because I'm not asking them for credit to buy things on a timely manner. I'm just getting the money by what capital I've had in my bank. So therefore, they only check what you have in your bank. Again, I'm at the Claridge. They check it. They see that I have 200,000. They give me 100,000. Now, then I went to the next one. I went to Bally's Grand at the time when it was there. I got another 100,000 there. And that's all I did at the time. So now I said the next following day, I said, this is the day I'm going to bang them out. I go to each casino. I first start at Resorts. I get the 100,000. I said, I want $100,000 mark. They take it out. Boom. No, I said, give me 60,000. They give me the 60,000. I signed for it because I have casino credit of 100,000. So now I just gamble a little bit and they act like, oh, gee, I'm losing or whatever. I said, well, I'll be back or whatever. Then within 3 hours, I wind up going to the cage with the majority of the chips and I cash in, let's say $90,000 or $95,000 worth of money. That's at one casino. I do the same thing for the Claridge, where I bet a little bit. I get a marker for 60,000 because I have 100,000 credit. I gamble a little bit, then boom, I get the chips. I cash out. I got like, let's say, another 95 or 90,000. I go to the third one, Bally's Grand, same scenario, bang. Now, when it comes time, you see, they have 1 week or 8 days they have until you have to pay that money back that you borrow. They give you that amount of time. If you don't do it within the 7 or 8 days, they have the power that you signed away for, that they have the power to go into your bank and then take the money out. So what I did was, after that third day, the second day, when I banged all 3 casinos for like 300,000, I went home, I wrote a check, and I withdrew the 200,000, leaving only, let's say, 3,000 in there. So I took 197,000 out. Now, when the 8 days come and the casinos want to get their money because I didn't pay them off in a timely fashion, boom, they go there, but there's nothing there for them to get. So, boo-hoo, but they don't come after you with the law. They don't bring you to court because they don't want to get the image that they're bringing people to court that may have lost money gambling. They don't want to look like they're bullies because it's bad publicity for the casino. So they don't do that. Therefore, not only did I win 386,000, but I took home approximately another count them, 300,000. Thank you. Thank you.
I'd say that's a good week or weekend, whatever. How long you were there?
3 days. 3 days.
I'd say that's a pretty good 3 days, no?
Yes, I would say so. Yes. And then in the meantime, I'm getting comps galore. I ordered 6 cases of Dom Perignon champagne, and I filled the jacuzzi with it just to take a bubble bath, just to waste it. Just did that. When you're young at the time, you gotta have memories, and I got the memories when I was young. I know how to enjoy it. I know how to spend it. And damn it, I'm going to do that. And once I get it again, and you're going to be right next to me.
My man,
can you handle that? Can you handle that?
Hey, listen. So, Jimmy, you're confident you knew how to spend it with the best of them?
That's
you
right.
You could spend it with the best of them?
Nobody's got nothing over on me. I can sit down, and whether it's politics, whether it's economics, whatever it is, because I make sure you my major was so this man, I got a pretty good head on my shoulders.
I'd say so.
I'm okay.
I'd say so, brother. Well, that's pretty good. I got to ask you a question, and we might as well start our Q&A. But the first question, I'm sorry, folks, I'm going to be a little greedy here because I'm curious. Because unfortunately for me, I spent a lot of time in Atlantic City, but I never came home with a smile, which means I always came home a lot lighter than I went there with, as you know, Jim. So, was there a favorite? This is a non-wise guy question. Was there a favorite? When you're gambling, obviously you had a game you were running, so you were confident any hotel. But like me, I had a casino of choice that I for some reason I just loved gambling at. In this particular case, I always remember being in Trump Plaza before it became the Taj. I just Trump World. Trump World. It was called Trump World. Was there and Harris? I remember I liked to be in Harris a little bit. How about you? Was there a casino of choice you liked in Atlantic City?
Well, when I won all the money at the Golden Nugget. Then it became Bally's Grand.
Bally's Grand, yep.
I used to go to Golden Nugget. I used to go to Harris. I used to go there quite a bit. When it was first Resorts International was the first casino there from the casino at Cox C-O-X.
Jimmy, I'm gonna take you down and bring you back in because you're breaking up bad. They're saying in the chat, and you're frozen. So I'm gonna pull you down and put you back in. By the way, folks, that is the famous Rayo's. That's known all over for maybe the wrong reasons, not the food alone. Everybody knows Rayo's is famous for their fine food. Jimmy has now disappeared. Hopefully he's going to hit that link, and I'm sure he's going to pop right back in any second now. And hopefully he'll that freezing will stop. That being said, I want to thank everybody for spending this lovely Friday to kick off your weekend. I hope everybody's got some nice plans with the family or whatever was going on, some barbecues. I plan on being with the grandchildren. We'll see what happens. Here he is, the man of the hour. He is back. Jimbo, how we doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, you're a little bit broken up, but we can hear you. All right, much better, much better. We're good to go, buddy. I just wanted to take you down because they were saying they were losing you. So we were talking about you liked the Golden Nugget, then it became Bally's Grand.
Right.
And I was just curious about that. I was just curious if there was a particular hotel in AC that you enjoyed.
Am I still breaking up?
No, you're good now.
All right. No. Well, at Resorts International, there was one good casino host. His name was Pat Cox, C-O-X. His name was, and he was a dear friend. He was very close to me. He loved my ability to entertain with the cards because naturally we're in a casino atmosphere, so that's where it would thrive. So a lot of times it would be in the middle of the night. Let's say there was nights where I took it down early. I practically lived there for like an 8-year period. I was there so many times. And he would call me in my room at, let's say, at 3:30 in the morning. He would say, Jimmy, my shift manager here, can you come down at Cafe Casino and can you entertain them for me? Show them what you can do with the cards. I said, sure, Pat, I'll be right down. I would put on a pair of pants. And for that, he would give me like $1,000 comp. Like, oh man,
I'm
telling you, I really enjoyed, and you got to enjoy it, Craig, when you're young, because when you're older, like I said, you're older, all of a sudden you can get prostate cancer. You can't fool around no more. You can't enjoy yourself. You got to have memories when you're young. That's the name of the game. And damn it, I made sure that I enjoyed myself.
That's right.
I made sure.
I know you did, brother. Let's get to it. Joe LaFrance, we'll start with our little Q&A. If anybody has questions, please put them in the box. We're going to start off with this one from Mr. Joe LaFrance, who's a friend. Joe says, I remember it, so I don't even have to pull it up. But Joe said, with all the money you earned, through the scams and whatnot, with the card counting and whatnot, did you ever save any of it? Because most, the reputation is most wise guys, we piss it away. I pissed every penny I ever made. I know that.
No, I invested in real estate.
Beautiful.
I had the first condo I had was when I won all the big chunk of money that I won when it was the Golden Nugget. I bought the townhouse for my mom and dad in Clifton. That was there. And the second chunk, but what I got by illegal means, the other $300,000, that was just enjoyable money, where I used that money to just, if I wanted to fly to Rio for the weekend or whatever, I just really enjoyed to the hilt. because that money was gotten so easily that I didn't have respect for it. But to answer the fellow's question, yes, when you're young, you could be a little not too smart either when it comes to knowing how to put away money and how to save money. I wish that I had 1/10 of what I gave away in tips.
Yeah.
The money that I gave in tips, I'm a very generous guy, and that alone, I wish I had
Some of that
I had
back, a piece of it.
1/10 of the tips that I gave away. Man,
It's funny. Our friend Terry, who you've grown to have a great relationship with, questions and answering for Terry. Terry says it's funny. She just came back from resorts. So
really,
she just got back from resorts. So I'm just looking for some questions. I know our man Roy Munson from Ireland had one. I'm going to pull it up here. There's been, like I said, I always get many. I got a couple this week concerning your dad and you, actually. Somebody from Trenton, good guy. He always reaches out, has nothing but great things and kind things to say about the show and you. I just always want to share those things with you, whether they're statements or questions. I want you to know that people are constantly reaching out saying great things about
it's very nice.
And the crew,
And thank you, Terry, for always calling in, and a cinnamon girl there tonight also.
Yep, CG2 is in the house. Yes, she is.
Okay. All right. Thank you again. Thank you, young lady. Thank you for calling in.
Here we go. Let's see.
Oh, and my man, I don't want to get Munson by not mentioning Mr. Munson.
That's right. Here we got a great question, and this comes from Mr. Dan Giancola, who we did the show with last night, the football player, Danny Boy. That is a great question, Dan. What do you think, Jim? Do you see it? Do you have any what ifs in your life? If I did this, if I did that.
I really don't really have that many regrets, because everything I did was always well calculated. It was well thought of. I never really went something on an impulse. I always listened to old timers first before I made a move, because 2 heads or 4 heads are better than 1 head. You got to know how to listen to people who've been there. And that's what I was good at, because of all the years my father was away and I'm working at the Belmont Tavern, the restaurant. Nothing but wise guys there all the time. And they were the ones who would drive me home, who would see who was going to drive me home, whether it was Nikki that night or Sally or this guy or that guy or Jimmy Fooch is going to drive me home. So at that point, I would always, on the way home, I would always drink up the knowledge. So I don't really have that many what ifs, or I should have done this or I should have done that. I don't really have too many of them, because again, everything was always a calculated risk, but it was well thought of. I always did my homework when it came to scores, always.
All right, that's beautiful. And Danny said, thank you so much. That's awesome, Jimmy. Thank you for answering that. I'm going to get to this next question. Another guy, a regular to the show, the Penn State guy. That's what his name is. Jimmy, in your prime, if you had to guesstimate how much you think you were making on an average, whether it be a week or monthly, if you had to guess at the height of everything, what do you think you were pulling in on a monthly basis or weekly, whichever's easier for you to try to calculate?
Let's see. I averaged about 3,000 to 5,000 a day when I was with the union.
You were earning.
Yeah.
You were earning.
That's not counting the real good banner days, which was really off the page, where it was really that good. But just like when I was working with my guy, when we went all over the country stealing, robbing the stores, I would average 3,000 a day with him. But that didn't count the days where he walked in a place and then he would grab all the money bags, and we walked out with 36,000 just cut between two guys, and just one store, like a 7-Eleven type store. And I was just telling him before we went there, it was a Sunday in Long Island. And I said, let's go home. I said, let's go back to Jersey. There's nothing happening out here. He goes, nah, relax. I know this game. Just be patient. Soon as we went in there, I grabbed the guy with the Snapples. I said, listen, my brother bought some Snapples. I said, and he drank some. He goes, what happened? I said, well, I don't want to go. What do you mean go to lawyer? Don't tell me that. So he grabs, I said, let me tell you something. Here's $200. I need a lot of cases of Snapple, but let's hold each one up to the sunlight and let's see if there's any shards of glass in there, like happened to my brother, because it cut my brother's throat. He goes, okay, he's doing that. Meanwhile, my guy was in the back. He whistles, right? He pulls me away from him. I say, why is he pulling me away from him? I got the guy cold so he can pull the money out. So I says, all right, 1 second. I said, just get some more of the peach. I said, I just want to see if they have one thing over here. I go near the back, and my man's there because he goes, there's a whole box of money. Each day of the week has got a paper bag with the day's receipt from the cash register stapled on it for each day of the week. I says, don't worry, I'll stay with him, even if I have to fake a heart attack. I go back to the guy. Meanwhile, I see my guy walking little by little. He goes to the front. He has the bag, like all the white plastic bag, real heavy. And he's walking out carrying it. And he goes to the front door and he looks out. He goes, Louise, oh, hi, honey. Okay, no, wait, I'm coming to you. He just blows out of the store. With that, I said, I'll be back with my SUV to pick up these cases. Meanwhile, I gave him the 200. It didn't matter because the money we were going to make, it just comes off the top. He gives me that expense money back when we cut the money up. That's how it worked. When I got in the car, I see him going with his hands like this. He's going like this. I said, oh man, what happened? Like he had to put the money back. Sometimes it happens. He has to put the money back if he sees the guy is sharp. It's looking around. Wasn't that way at all. On the way home, we're right near John F. Kennedy Airport. So we had to drive home. $36,600 in money. And let me tell you something. You have no idea the feeling that you have when you knuckle down the score and you count the money in a hotel room and you know that you're going to have a good time and the wine is going to pour even more smoother. It's going to go smoother. The meal is going to taste better because that guy is paying for it. It's coming at it, spending all his money.
Hey, Danny, it's like when you kick the field goal and you know it was going through the uprights. It's up and it's good.
There you go.
Like that.
There's no feeling like that in the world.
Duke, I went to go check out that post, buddy, but it won't let me go to the page. Maybe I'm the only guy that can't look at it. My man, Penn State guy, said, Jimmy, that is an incredible amount of money to earn on a weekly basis. He wants to know where can he get his button immediately.
Well, we're having a sale this week. If you join our crew, it'll cost you about $15,000 to join. But we offer you dental and you get 2 hats.
Wow, and medical coverage. You can't go wrong.
Yes, yeah, and you got two Sig Sicilian hats with the button in the middle.
Too much, man. Great question from Terry. Terry, thank you so much. Penn State guy, I hope you love the answer. Awesome question. Jimmy, did you know Steve Atabata Sr.?
Yes. And I knew Junior. I knew
How do
Junior
I
very
know
well.
you most? Go ahead, break it down.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve Jr., before he was in politics, we used to work out at the gym together. We were young. We were like 18 years old. And then I saw him years later when I had this part of this restaurant called Cafe D'Angelico in Montclair, New Jersey. He came there one night to eat, and this was the night his wife just had a baby boy, and it was bothering him that he goes, I don't know, I can't. I look at her different now that she had the baby, and this was Steve. Steve was saying this was the son. The father was even more senior, was even more involved, heavily entrenched in politics in Essex County, Newark area. But Steve Jr., he was also, I forget which title he has. He was with Shapiro. They were partners or something. Terry, if I'm correct, just let me know if I'm correct or not. I think we're talking about the same people, correct?
Yeah, and Terry Will. You have our brother is in here, especially your brother, Mr. Larry Roller, and he made a statement. Jimmy, maybe you could clear this up because I heard about this from a wise guy when I was young, and this particular guy had a ton of money, and I was a kid. I really didn't understand it, but it was something about, and maybe it was I'm just telling you, it's true. They would not buy green cars for some reason. I think they felt it was bad luck. It was something to do with money, a color of money. I don't know what it was about. Jimmy, have you ever heard about guys not wanting to buy green cars? Have you ever heard of that? I know I definitely did.
I never heard guys talking, but yet I never saw one green car. And all the guys that I know, I never saw one green one.
Yeah, Dookie's saying, and Duke, I'm telling you, I believe the gentleman, and he was in the life, and he retired from the life. That's, that says something in itself. That, he's up there in age now, and he's retired. He's well up there. But when I was young, he told us, he's talking to a few of us, never buy a green car. He didn't get into it, never buy a green car. And somebody said it had something to do with luck, Duke. So when you're saying green cars are bad luck, period, maybe it was something to do with that. It had to be. Maybe Larry has the answer. Larry, if you know the answer if that's it, the luck thing, that's a great question, Larry, honestly, brother. Let's see. We got some questions coming in. Craig and Jimmy, okay. Jimmy, I have an opinion. I'm curious, Jim, if you give yours first or I'll give mine, whatever. But the question's for both of us. What's our opinion on Joey Molino's steakhouse, his new steakhouse he's about to open, being set on fire? Is it a no comment or is it?
No, what I heard was just it was a minimal amount of damage, minimal. So I don't believe there was no
Anything from anything, right?
There was no wrongdoing there.
Yeah,
it just happened to be that way. But because it's him, they're going to assume that that he had something to do with that. But if he had something to do with that, that place would have been down to the ground.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was probably some faulty wiring or something.
Yes, it was something minor that happened, and I'm telling you, he'll be cleared from any wrongdoing. Watch.
Unbelievable. They want to go after him, but not worry about if somebody said it. Imagine right. That. Unbelievable. But Jimmy, that a great question, dude. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. We had some good questions tonight. Oh, this is more of a statement type thing, Jim. They said back in the day, have you ever heard of any rumors, Jimmy, way before our time, Albert Anastasia used to sell buttons for $50,000. Imagine back then what that was worth. Any truth to that rumor?
Yes, that's the truth.
Wow, I never heard that. Wow, yes. I never heard that.
He was selling the privilege to have to be straightened out if you gave him money. This is why they got rid of him.
Yeah, wow.
That's the truth. That's the God's honest truth. Why he was.
Wow, what a question! Whoever put that up there, that was great.
In the movie, the Velocity
guy, good job. Yeah.
Listen, there's a scene in the movie The Valachi Papers. The
Yeah, I
guy that's
remember it.
the guy that's playing Vito Genovese, he says in the meeting at Appalachian, upstate New York, where they had that big meeting, he's talking at that meeting, and he said he refers to Anastasia. He says Anastasia was no longer here. He goes, but we know why. He goes, these people that paid to do to gain entrance to our thing. He says, let's give them their money back. He says, and get rid of them. He says that in the movie, and this movie was made in 1972. So it was more, because the original book by Peter Mass was written in 1968. Because I remember that so well, because there was a statement made in that book. It said Carmine Persico was the fastest rising mob boss in the whole organized crime. He was a fasting rising boss, they said at the time. That's why I remember that. But I remember that because my father was away, and I read the book. I was only in 7th grade, but I read the book. But in the movie, that's what the actor says who plays Genovese. He said, give them guys their money back, and this is why Anastasia was killed.
All right, Jimmy, I got a few more, and this one, I'm going to go in order. Dookie and Dave T said that the report is they found 2 Molotov cocktails. Now, we know, they could say anything, but if that is true and they found 2 Molotov cocktails, would you think there might be something behind it? It's hard to say, but you don't know what they planned. You don't know.
We don't know if something was planted. We don't know, because don't forget,
don't know.
They don't like this kid. They're going to try to cause any kind of trouble for him. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
People don't realize that the FBI are not really squeaky clean. There's FBI agents out there that I know for a fact that are lower than wise guys. Some of them, they're bad news. Some of them, they'll do anything. They'll do anything to gain a conviction. If they have to change around their paperwork or whatever. But like I said, this kid wouldn't have just thrown some obvious Molotov cocktail like that. It's so stupid. In other words, it would be so obvious. He would be more innovative than that. My opinion. He's not a dumb kid. No. He's been there for a long time. Just like Fidel Castro. When Fidel Castro had the Bay of Pigs, and then Kennedy was trying to get rid of him by the invasion of Cuba, and all that didn't work. That's one thing to seize power through power, to seize power with a political coup, but it's another thing to keep that power. You got to be sharp. And Castro was there for what, 30, 40 years? Yeah, once he became the boss of Cuba, the guy ain't stupid. Same thing with Joey. He can't be that stupid. He's not that stupid to have evidence of something of a such a basic device, a primitive device to use something like that. It would be so obvious.
Absolutely.
My opinion, I don't think he would have done it. If he did it, he would have done it that way.
Duke says
he would have watched the show, and he would have done it the way I suggest.
That's right. Yeah, he would have took a lesson from how to do it the right way. Listen, Dookie says, I think they paid a couple of mutts just to do that to Skinny, to make it look that way. You know what I mean?
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. I got 2 great ones for you. Funny. Because I forgot to ask you this a couple of weeks ago. Penn State guy again. Craig, ask Jimmy his thoughts on Carlos Marcello being thrown out of an airplane by the FBI over the Amazon jungle. Have you ever heard of this story?
No, he was never thrown out. What they did was they had him in a plane, and then they brought him to a remote area and landed, and just left him there to his own devices to get his way back home. But they never threw him out of the plane. and killed him.
Got
That
you.
never happened.
All right, I got one more for you, brother, and it has to do with you and Pop. Jimmy did, well, actually it has to do with Juice. Did your dad ever do time in Southern State?
No, he did time right next door in Southern State, which was Leesburg.
Okay.
Leesburg State Prison in Jersey, which is in Millville, New Jersey, down south. It's exit 17 on the Parkway, Sea Isle City exit. Then you have to take all these inner roads to get there. But right next to Leesburg is Southern State. He was in jail there in the 80s with Joey Merlino. They were together, Stevie Mazzola, a few other guys that were there.
Wow, that's something. Let's see, we might have one more. That one thrown out of the plane, Penn State guy had asked me that over the phone one day, and I went hysterical laughing because he knows I found it to be hysterical. You know, that they said they just took a guy and threw him out of a fucking plane.
No, they would do that kind of stuff during the Vietnam War. They would get the Vietnam bigger, higher ranked, like officers. They would have them in the plane, and they would say, "Listen, you're going to give us information of where the underground tunnels are, or whatever." And they says, "No." One at a time, they just throw them out of the helicopter. Just throw them right out. Boom. They go to the next guy. Are you ready to talk? No. Boom. Throw them right out. That's what they did in Vietnam, but they didn't do that to Carlos Marcello.
All right, Jim. It looks like I know what time it is, and we're gonna. Duke's just saying, yeah, Southern State is run by the good old boys, the original boys in the hood. No, Duke's just saying, Leesburg. He happened to know maybe some people in that joint. But this is actually a good question that comes from Dan Giancola. Again, Dan was with us last night, Jim, and he wants to know, Jimmy, did you excel at any sports as a youth? Were there any sports that you excelled at as a youth?
Yeah, football.
Danny, I was
all state quarterback in '74, Jersey.
Were you any good?
All state quarterback? What does that tell you?
Yeah, but maybe they're afraid of your father. You know what I mean?
No. That's the scholastic achievement has nothing to do with being afraid of somebody's father.
That's
what
right.
happened, I still have the record thrown, the longest pass thrown in high school Jersey, high school football, the longest pass thrown in the air for a touchdown. I threw the ball on the 33-yard line. They caught it 7 yards deep in the end zone, but they only counted from the goal. So it was 67 yards. Actually, I threw the ball 74 yards. I was 16 years old.
I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah, my arm should have been painted with platinum paint. Forget about gold.
So wait a minute. So now the arms should have been platinum. The hands we know are platinum.
Right.
They should have just dipped you in platinum. The whole body.
Just dip the whole body in platinum. And then I just freeze, and I'm just in Madame Tussauds Wax Museum.
Oh, you're too much, Jimmy. Please, can we get two more out of you, please?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go, and we're out of here. You got my word. This one comes from our friend up north. Nikki said, Jimmy, did you ever box?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I was very good at it. My father, the first thing he did when I was 12 years old, he went away when I was 2, and then he went away 9 years. He came home when I was 12. When he came home, the first thing he bought me was a sandbag, Everlast sandbag. And he taught me how to use my hands. In other words, my left would be in front.
Here we go.
Like this. And I would jab, and then everything would always come back like this. And then, bang.
Turning it over. Yes.
My father was very good. Again, he was He was national AAU champion welterweight nationally. He was New Jersey and New York Golden Glove champion. He was undefeated as a pro, but then he got drafted in the Army or whatever, and then it ruined his career. But my dad was very good, and he was in Ring Magazine. I think it was either 1952, 53, one of those months. He was the fighter of the month in Ring Magazine. But when he came home, he taught me how to use my hands. And let me tell you something. I used to fight all the kids, box them, with gloves in my garage, and I beat everybody in my neighborhood, every single person. Even the kids I was 13, they were 16. That's the deal. When you're 13 and some kid is 16, that kid is more mature. He's a lot older, but still, it didn't matter. I still whooped everybody's butt. I was a good fighter. I was a good boxer. I should have did that, but my mother said she didn't want me to do it because I would wind up with a broken nose like my father had until he got it fixed. My father has his nose fixed, but if I show you pictures when they got married, you see my father's nose is all mangled, All
right. This one's from Terry. Jimmy, did you go to school with Anthony Romandetto?
Yeah, he was my buddy. He was my buddy in high school. Anthony Romandetto. He became a Belleville cop. Yeah, he was my friend, Anthony Romandetto. Good-looking kid, too, but not like me.
I was going to say better looking than you?
No, he was my buddy. He was my friend. We graduated in 1975 together.
That's crazy, Terry and you. Boy, that's a small world. And one last question, and we'll call it a night. Jimmy, this comes from Duke. Do you remember Sammy Goss? Goss. Sammy Goss.
Doesn't ring a bell. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's all right. That's awesome. Jim, I got to tell you, man, you make me, the laughs are priceless. Now, after you told some of the football stuff, now they're saying they're mad at me. Why don't I have you do the football shows when I do the football stuff? They don't understand you're expensive. It's not easy hiring you for a day. You want double time and a half. Then I got to pay for this and that. It gets crazy. I got to put a steward on the job.
Oh yeah. Then you got to get me T-shirts.
I want to tell you, Jim, I had a lot of fun and a lot of laughs tonight, man. You know how much I love you. And I know if I laugh like this, I know everybody's laughing. You're a man's man, and I am so proud that you're with us, brother. You know that. You know it.
Thank you, Craig. No, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be part of a winning team.
Yeah, amen, man. Thank you so much. And I just want to say have a great weekend, Barbara. Take care of my man here. And Jimmy will be speaking tomorrow morning. And you have a good night's rest. And things are going to be well, my friend. Onward and upward, right, brother?
Greg, make sure Catherine, I say good night to Catherine and Antonio and everybody else. And Craig, I love you. Take care.
I love you too, pal. And Nikki says, Jimmy, see you soon.
All righty.
All
Take
right,
care.
brother.
Thank you, Nikki. Talk to you tomorrow.
Good night, brother. And there you have it, folks. The man of the hour. Too sweet to be sour. I hope everybody had a good night tonight. He's always good for a lot of laughs. But the amazing thing, Barbara, be well, hon. The amazing thing is that, man, it's unreal, for me to sit back and hear some of the questions and to have Jimmy know all of these people and have relationships with them. And as Terry will know, and TT Rad, whoever asked these questions, the Duke and Penn State guy, you're getting the true answers. When he goes beyond, well, no, not only did I grow up with him or her, I knew his mother, the sister, the aunt, the uncle. And that's what I love about Jim. It's very detailed. And I think that's important. And when I say, little, things are literal in that life, about detail, literal. Jimmy gives you detail and literal. Danny, thank you so much for coming in on, I said it that night. It wasn't just about you and your show. You show up even, on nights, you're not on the desk with me, brother. But I got a lot planned for me and you, bud. That has to do with football and maybe some motivational stuff, but we'll definitely talk about that. Folks, I'm telling you, we have some really great things coming up. From across many different avenues, whether it be boxing, mixed martial arts, and I'm not just talking a lot of different areas. I always say I don't like to promise or give dates, but we're closing in on putting dates together. We're there. We're at that point, and things are happening. And like I said, we want to be well-rounded. We don't want to just be talking about one thing here, because we've done a lot of different things. All of us have, I'm sure, in our life, and some of the bad things, that we look back on were really just a blip on the screen in the grand scheme of things in life, So with that being said, I hope everybody has a safe, great weekend. I hope if you're having a barbecue plan, be safe. Don't do like I did. One year I set the whole neighbor's fence on fire. I just started renting the apartment, and he told me no barbecues. I talked him into it. It was bad enough. I already owed him about 6 months rent. So I proceeded to, anybody that knows me from back in the day in Whitestone knows that my mom's laughing already. I could hear her from here because she remembers coming down the street and all the fire trucks, and she was telling my brother, I hope those fire trucks are not going to your brother's house. And guess what? They were. I didn't know I had a leak in the hose of the tank, caught onto the fence, and my luck, not only did I set the man's wooden fence on fire, well, now the flames were so high, it's catching on to the guy next door, his garage, and his roof. I'm not laughing. Nobody got hurt. His roof is starting to catch, and the guy comes out with a little hose, thinking he's going to put the fire out, and he had that. I'm not making fun of this, but he had that. I think it was Parkinson's. So his hands were shaking so bad, he's missing the fence with water. And he's drenching me. I'm getting soaking wet because he's missing the fence. Anyway, I thought I'd share you another one of my great escapades of barbecuing. So I'm not the actual greatest choice to have barbecue for you, but I can eat with the best of them. You guys have a great weekend. Be safe. I love you. But we're going to go out to a different song tonight. We're going to go out to something that I know my man Timmy Irish loves very well. Very much, and it's this.